Do you want to train everything? Are there many activities and skills that interest you? Do you have a bunch of things on your to-do list that never seem to get crossed off? Do you feel stretched thin across everything that you want to do, and thus unable to do any of it? As someone with a lot of interests who happens to be on a lifelong quest to increase my mental and physical strength, I understand. I've been there before. I've looked back over previous years, wondered where all the time went, and thought, what did I even accomplish? Why didn't I accomplish what I wanted? How could I even accomplish it all? Over the years, I've overcome this predicament by figuring out real, effective ways to make consistent progress across multiple domains, and to finally get things done. What I've discovered is that the best way to make progress is not to focus on goals, but to install systems in your life for taking real, consistent steps forward on a daily basis. This idea is captured in the phrase, "The process is the goal." Goals are great for providing structure and motivation, but they should not be the primary driver of your progress. By overly focusing on goals, you lose sight of the small steps and daily struggles it takes to actually reach them, and your progress becomes contingent on your in-the-moment motivation to reach a given goal. In contrast, when you install a system that compels you to work on a daily basis, independently of your immediate motivation, you will not only reach any goals you've set, but you will surpass them and continue on to even bigger and better goals. You will generate a positive feedback loop of progress. To organize my training, make consistent progress, and achieve all of life's tasks, I use a few different systems that I've developed myself. In this video, I'll be sharing one of them with you. Now let's talk about what I call the multi-cycle system. The multi-cycle system involves identifying all of the activities and tasks you want to make consistent progress on, and then splitting them up into several different cycles that occur simultaneously. It sounds simple. Let's dive in and see how this works in practice. First, you make an unorganized list of all of the activities that you want to do. It could be in an iPhone note like you see here, or it could be in a physical notebook, or in a document on your computer, however you want to do it. All you need is some medium through which you can check off tasks and track the number of cycles you complete. As you can see, you want to include all kinds of tasks, mental, physical, or otherwise. For example, I've included meditation and stretching here alongside reading books and studying math. Next, you want to identify the frequency with which you want to do each activity. Is it every day, every other day, once a week, once every couple weeks, as quickly as you can, whenever you can? Basically, you want to choose a time range that is reasonable for you to achieve for the given task, but also frequent enough for you to make consistent progress on it. For example, it is reasonable for most people to finish reading one book per month, and doing this every month means they will finish at least 12 books per year. And you want to lift weights as frequently as possible to stimulate muscle growth and maintain muscle mass, but you also need to rest for a certain amount of time in order to recover. And this length of time can vary based on the intensity of your workouts, the quality of your sleep, outside stressors in your life, and so on. Based on all the time ranges you see, you now want to create several different cycles, each of which repeats across one of the time ranges. For things that do not have a definite time range, the activities you want to do as quickly as you can, or just whenever you can, put them into a special cycle that has no definite time associated with it. Here, I'm simply calling it the as quickly as possible cycle. Another good name for it is the unbounded cycle. The other cycles I'm using in this example occur, respectively, every day, every other day, once per week, and once per month. Now, it's time to slot all of the activities into their respective cycles. And that's it. You're ready to implement. You move down the list, one task at a time, in whichever order is most efficient for you. The final thing you want to track is the number of times you complete a cycle. Start out with a 0 below each cycle. When you complete a cycle, reset the checks, and then increment the number below it. Over time, you can then see how often you are actually completing each cycle over a given length of time, and then tweak your cycles or your schedule accordingly to be more efficient and get things done more consistently. Remember, this will be a very iterative process. It will probably take a few iterations before finding something that clicks. For example, I originally had only a full body stretching session in the unbounded or as quickly as possible cycle. However, I found that I simply didn't have time to do a full body stretching session more than once or twice per week. The problem is that I wanted to significantly increase my hip and hamstring flexibility for Taekwondo. And to do this, I needed to stretch these much more frequently, ideally every couple of days or so. Thus, I included a small set of key hip and hamstring stretches that can be done in about 15 minutes into the cycle that completes every other day. This way, I do the full body stretching session when I'm able to, while still making consistent progress in my hip and hamstring flexibility through the more frequent, smaller stretching sessions. Finally, I want to talk about the rare event method. The rare event method involves putting a rare event in one of your cycles. Easy enough, but what is a rare event? In this context, it is an activity that you would like to do, but that you rarely or maybe even never do. These are the tasks that you imagine an idealized version of yourself doing sometime in the vague, distant future that you never actually do. A rare event is often a one-off event like a certain errand or chore, but it can also be something that can recur. So, what are some examples of rare events? Fixing that broken chair in the corner you've been walking past for months. Using that cool Christmas present you got a couple years ago, but never got around to using. That tedious household chore you never have the motivation to do. Writing in that journal that you wrote in one time and then forgot about. Anything that you wish you would do, or that you know you should do, but that you simply don't do. Put it all on your rare event list. Then, when the cycle comes up to a rare event, it is time to pick something from the list and just do it. The idea is to either complete a rare event, if it is something that can be completed, or to start consistently doing it until it is no longer a rare event. By including a rare event task in one of your cycles, you prompt yourself to do something that you've been putting off for weeks, months, maybe even years. The rare event is staring you right in the face in one of your cycles. It's there, it's time to do it, there's now no excuse. You will find that you are finally doing all those things that you wished you did, but never actually did before. You finally just do it. The idea underlying this method is, if you do not do something today, then you are not going to do it. By pushing something off to tomorrow, or the weekend, or next month, you are effectively pushing it off indefinitely. You can always come up with the same excuses. I don't have enough time right now. I'm too tired today. I don't know where to start yet. I'm not motivated. I have other things to do. The reality is, the factors that are preventing you from doing something today are never going to change. If you're going to do something, the time to do it is now. One final note about the multi-cycle system. While this system essentially incorporates periodization into it, keep in mind that you can periodize the system itself over longer timescales, such as months or years. In other words, you can evolve the cycles and tasks themselves over time, based on what you want to focus on improving or maintaining at any given point in your life. Alright everyone, that's it. The multi-cycle system and the rare event method. Since implementing the system in my life, I've made substantial progress on things I was previously not moving forward on. I've ignited steady progress across multiple domains, and have finally started doing those rare events that I never did before. I hope you're able to take the system, adapt it for your own purposes, and start making the same kind of progress in your own life. Try it out and let me know how it goes. I will see you next time. Remember, the process is the goal.